Board meeting to order and ask Savannah to call the roll.
In attendance tonight, we have Gary Dion, Dave Boulette, Councilor Bruce Cheney, Mike Delavecchia, Vice Chair Rich McNeil, Planning Director Rob Mora, Assistant Director Tyler Carmichael, and I'm Savannah Burnell, Recording Secretary.
So there's our staff in attendance. Savannah is taking notes, and we have both Tyler and Rob here for technical assistance. I'll look for acceptance of the minutes from previous meeting.
So moved.
A second.
We need a vote on that?
Yep.
Okay. Motion made. So we'll go ahead and, can we take a vote, Savannah? We don't need a roll call, do we?
No roll call tonight.
Okay.
So,
All in favor? That's right.
I wasn't here,
Okay.
so I wasn't going to vote.
so it'll be 1, 2, 3, plus 1 abstention.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay, continued public hearing, consideration and possible vote is the zoning amendment. It's the rewrite of the short-term lodging ordinance. I guess we'll look for the staff presentation.
Sure. So, last time, I know we've brought this before you a couple times now. I believe there were a couple questions outstanding last time. One about septic tanks, and the other one was about signing a contract with the city. We talked to legal counsel just to see what we could do with either one of those two things. Septic tanks are regulated by the state, so that's out of our hands. That jurisdiction belongs to the state. However, when it comes to the contract, we can't do a contract, but what we can do is amend the application to where it basically put a statement on there saying, you know, by signing this application, I acknowledge that I will adhere by these laws and regulations as outlined in our ordinance. So, and we intend on doing that.
Any discussion?
I had a question about D. Which one was, D1, it says dwelling unit that is occupied only between May 1st and October 31st. Isn't it the other way around?
I think that was on the current language, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull that up here. You said D1?
Yes, I'm sorry, D1.
Oh, yep, that was in the current ordinance, and we've removed that in the new ordinance.
Yep, to make it their primary residence.
Okay, well, mine still has it in.
I think because that's under the current language, but under the proposed language, I don't see it in here. We have removed that.
Okay.
Because our D does not have any numbers on it.
I'm caught up now.
So,
Thank you.
So by law, then, you would be required to make that your permanent residency, and we have defined permanent residency as at least 200 days a year, and there is certain documentation we accept to determine whether or not.
so what we did with that one is we have, it's in I1.
Yep.
We added, the use is limited to a single-family residential dwelling unit that is the owner's primary residence, and that's where we added a definition to the zoning ordinance with one of our previous amendments, and that's where we get our 200-day reference, is you have to, as be your primary residence, and you have to live there 200 days, and then you have to provide, I think, a driver's license.
Yeah, there's a
and
list of utility bill. There's several things that they can provide that we have outlined in the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
So,
When we open it to the public hearing, it's not been open to the public hearing, but once we do, then the public was welcome to voice input. Yep, you're welcome.
So it's 6:34. I'll open the public hearing for comments. So if you come up, anybody like to speak? come
You're
up
good.
And state your name and where you're from.
No, go right ahead.
Hi, Bruce Cheney. It's Crosswalk Marie.
How are you?
My name is Marie Maglione Bright. I live at 40 Memory Lane in Laconia. I live at Weirs Beach Village. We are a private entity. Okay, we have a lot of questions. People have been allowed to rent weekly, daily, monthly, whatever, against the majority of us at the, we're just a cash cow for you guys, for taxes wise, because we get no amenities from this. We've had too many issues with people in our clubhouse. We get no plowing, no trash, no street sweep, no sidewalks, crosswalks. We have our own pumping station. We are self-sufficient. I'm here because what can we do to stop you guys from letting people rent in, they're advertising at Airbnb. We're supposed to be a nonprofit. God, there's so much, we maintain our own streets, sewers, streetlights, plowing, and we don't have any, as far as I know, we don't have any children in the system as of yet. We have, I know some people have a few young ones. And I'd say maybe not quite half of the year round, like myself. I retired, I moved up there, I liked it here up until now. There are 7 people that advertise. 102 Memory is one. Advertising is just, bear with me, I apologize, I'm just getting a little nervous. Just had to hear me when I was getting my dander up, though. They thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Oh man, I just threw my brain out of whack here. 10 Tranquility Lane, 102 Memory. 112 Memory. They're at Verbo. 102 is Airbnb. 116 Memory, Airbnb. 154 Memory, I don't know if they're advertising, but they're renting Airbnb at 150 is Airbnb in Verbo. In your laws, you state they can have up to 12 people. Our streets can't handle 12. Can't even park 12 cars anywhere. We have enough trouble with the residents when we're having a function within ourselves that people help each other in compact cars in their own driveways. Woke up one morning to find a pickup parked on the street. If anybody needed a fire truck, you wouldn't have got by. They have to go on the lawn, but it's just the idea. We're private. I mean, if we were city sufficient and you guys would take care of us, this is becoming a problem. This woman here had trouble with, kids were standing on our pool table. We can't control these people. I don't,
I think you need to look at your rules.
okay, we have,
Well, let me finish my
Okay.
sentence. The word private starts to talk about what the city can and can't do for you. And I'm not saying they ought to be allowed to Airbnb or whatever at any point. What I am saying is, you ought to look at your rules and rewrite your rules to say it's not allowed.
can I just read a line that's in our, it says, we have a line in our rules that said it can't be used, unit may be leased for residential use only. In no event may the unit be used as in hotel, motel, boarding house, or the like. They're telling us, supposedly the lawyers, it's a gray area. Can somebody please tell me?
That's not great.
I might be old, but I'm not stupid. I don't see how, I'm just here for help. Help
Sure.
me.
If
Tell
I-
me.
If I may, real quick. So, first off, I definitely understand where you're coming from with the residential use, because I know this was a discussion amongst the board as well, and with our attorneys too. There has been a Supreme Court case. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. However, in talking with the attorneys, there was a Supreme Court case. It was the one out of Conway, I believe, where the Supreme Court for the state of New Hampshire ruled that short-term lodging is a residential use. So our hands are tied. We have to classify it as a residential use. That's probably why your attorneys are telling you it's a gray area. Because some people do view it as a commercial use. Unfortunately, the courts view it as a residential use. With that, Counselor Cheney is right. If you guys have an association, I would continue to work with your legal counsel to find the best solution for you. There are several associations in the city that currently prevent short-term lodging. And when individuals come in to us to ask us if it's permitted, we tell them what the rules are for their specific zone. However, we also encourage them to talk to their association, because their association might not let them. And at that point, it's a civil matter between the association and that property owner. So the city doesn't have any jurisdiction between those two.
You're gonna have to look for damages, fines or something for the resident who uses it for those purposes. And damages, you can attach their property if they don't pay it, whatever. I'm not telling you it's pleasant or that it's, you know, a quick fix. But what sets you apart is the very first thing you said, which is, we're private. Which makes it difficult for us to make rules for you. We can make rules outside of your organization,
Right.
but not within.
So, if I could just add, so we do create the rules for the entire city, but you as an HOA, as a private entity, can create rules for yourselves.
Well-
And what a lot of HOAs I've seen do is they're trying to combat short-term lodging within their own developments. And a lot of them have done, they limit the number of rentals of 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever that number is that makes everybody in there happy. Because you've got to do some sort of a compromise to get to an agreeable solution for everybody. And it might be worth, at your next HOA meeting, having that discussion and seeing if you can bring something like that as an amendment.
We've already had it. In the beginning, 2019, I brought up for a special meeting. My neighbor here also did the same thing. The majority of everybody voted they did not want rentals. But unfortunately, we only had, I think at the time, maybe 2. But now, like, we're up to 7. And it's frustrating. And the other thing is, I wanted to volunteer to get involved in the city for the TIF district, and I was told I couldn't because I live there.
So if you want to volunteer for a TIF committee, as long as you live in the district, you can.
I was told because I live at Weirs Beach Village, and the way the plan is, that I could not go into
Oh,
the
it
Weirs.
might not be, I don't know if
I'd
it's,
have to look at the map to see if
let
Weirs
me,
Beach Village is actually in the TIF. If the district, if the village is not in the TIF district, then unfortunately you couldn't serve. So,
Let me-
pulling up the map.
I
let me
don't
look
get
here.
it. I mean, I'm right in the heart of it. I just don't understand.
Right. So because the purpose of the TIF district is to use the funding there to upgrade the infrastructure for those parcels that abut public infrastructure there, as long as they are incorporated within the district. That was established by city council probably back in
So-
2014.
Yep. So Weirs Beach Village is not in the Weirs TIF,
Right.
so, which is why you can't be on the.
Right, no,
So-
I know that, and I
Yep.
didn't understand why, but I
Yep.
know I'm out of the district, but I live right in the heart of it, okay, but, anything else? Is there anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you did. I would like to know.
All right, come up here.
I just have a couple questions.
Sure.
I'm getting old.
State your name.
You
Audrey
just state your name
Goodrow.
and where you're from.
Memory lane,
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to go over, I forget who said this. Does the person that owns that house that's going to do a short-term rental, do they have to live there a certain number of days?
Not in the commercial resort, which this parcel is in, or the SFR. Only if you are in the residential, single-family, residential general.
Residential apartment, rural residential
Yep.
1 and rural residential 2.
Correct.
So we're not residential.
So you're in that district there, it's commercial resort. And when we originally developed the short-term lodging ordinance, we reviewed every district within the city, and it was commercial resort and shorefront residential districts were determined that that was a use that had been going on there since really the history of the city of Laconia, as it was really the tourist heart of Laconia, and that's where everybody was doing rentals. So it was permitted by right there, and even in our new ordinance, we have it as it's a permitted by right with no limitations on it.
But with that said, though, again, your HOA can put your own limitations for your association. That is a possibility.
So there's no dates, if they rented, let's say, a week or a weekend, which is a hotel, I don't care what you call it, it's a hotel. We cannot do that's not considered, I mean, they can do this where we are.
Under the zoning district, yes, but
Yes.
again, you could limit that for your HOA.
In other words, the city can't help us.
But they have, this is the thing that that I went to our HOA quite a while, maybe 5 years ago. Hilliard, which comes down the side, was zoned, it must be zoned commercial resort,
So
is that right?
part of Hilliard Road is zoned commercial resort, and then the rest of it, it kind of goes out into the rural residential.
The light green.
The light green area on that zoning, here, I'll get up there and I'll point it out for you. Yep.
Because the people are saying to me, well, we can go to the town, you can't do anything about it. We're giving them, I believe, $250, is it $250?
Yep, currently there's an application fee, it's $250 for a short-term lodging application.
Okay, they said we give the town, they're the ones that are saying we can rent no matter what you say, and we're renting, and we're getting our application at the town, and there's nothing you can do about it, even though you have an HOA.
Right, so unfortunately, the city cannot enforce your HOA policies. So if somebody did come to us and said, hey, we want a short-term lodge, we can provide them the application, they can fill it out, because technically it is permitted by right in that zone. However, what we do is we tell them, hey, just because we permit it in this zone doesn't mean your HOA does, at which point you guys can seek damages from them, civil penalties.
And do you still have the 3 rules, like 3 strikes or whatever it is? They
believe-
said if somebody does something really drastic, you write a letter to the board.
So that's currently, with our short-term lodging permit, it is a 3-strike rule. But under this new ordinance, we do not have the permitting. We're making it a special exception, which is,
So-
got more restrictions.
So legal pointed out to us that by law, we can't actually permit out of the zoning ordinance for short-term lodging. So we're removing the permit because we can't actually legally permit somebody out of the zoning ordinance for it.
But
So
we can-
it's currently written in the zoning ordinance that that's what we do, which is, so we're following the rules in our zoning ordinance. But legal has informed us that legally, we have no ability to do that.
Correct.
So it's useless.
So,
Is that what you're saying?
It's not useless
fine.
because we can still put in performance standards. So, for example, 16 people max is the occupancy. I think right now it's based off of square footage, and we have seen some ridiculous numbers that are permitted. Under this, we have significantly reduced that to 16 maximum, but it's 2 per bedroom. So if you only have 2 bedrooms, you can only have 4 people there.
and I think for
Okay.
Weirs Beach Village, I think depending on the age of the development of when the house was built, there was bedroom restrictions on the original approval. And I think so the first the first phase or 2 is 2 bedrooms only. And I think it wasn't until the 3rd phase of the development that they changed it to 3 bedrooms.
Right.
So,
Well, they have that empty room that they call a bedroom, but it's not. It's like an extra little place you go, you could put a desk, but they're using that for bedroom.
in the new ordinance, it's 2 occupants per bedroom.
Okay.
So it would have to be classified as a bedroom. And I don't think that
That's
those,
going to count.
those bonus rooms are actually bedrooms.
That's what they are, bonus
Oh.
rooms. Okay. So it's just 2 bed, okay.
Yep, so that would actually reduce the number of occupants that would be in some of those,
Yeah.
in those
Okay,
units.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No
Can
problem.
I ask, if she lives in a commercial district, the Weirs, why can't she belong to the TIF?
She could, but when the TIF was created, that parcel was not adopted as part of the tax incentive financing district. So in order for us to add that district as it, we would have to amend the entire district. So it'd be plausible, but I think it would also,
Could you recommend to the council that they include that?
You could, but you would have to reset all the property values, thus creating the TIF over
and I think
again.
that's where the hiccup comes in, is your assessed value would change then to what it currently is. So if you had, if the original TIF was adopted and the total assessed value of the land was at X, and then you amended it, it would have to go up to the current value. So if you were putting so much money into the TIF, it would drop down to 0 until new projects were developed. So you would lose a lot of your revenue that was going to the TIF district.
Not sure I understand that, but okay.
It's, just know it is possible, but I think you would lose a lot of the funding that is currently available in that TIF district because it has been a while since it's been created.
If you're adding, how does that reduce?
Because it's resetting your, what your initial property value was for your total assessed land area. So right now, because I can't remember what year the TIF was adopted,
I think it was 2014.
but if it was in 2014, you look at the assessed value of all the land within the TIF, and that would have gone up considerably in the last 11 years, so that you'd be resetting that back to its today's value, so then the amount that you would be able to put into the TIF would only be a percentage of the new assessed value. So it wouldn't, any new construction would be added to it, but the equity that you would have gained from the 2014 adoption would have been lost.
Correct.
Quick question, and I'll leave you guys, I guess. If they advertising to sleep up to 8, and they've only got like 2 bedrooms, if we found out that they were not, what they're supposed to be, and we reported it to you guys.
Yep, downstairs, and you can bring in that advertisement and show us, and we can take enforcement action from there.
Yep, and we also accept it online on the city's website. You
Yes.
you can screenshot it and attach it as an image.
Because they're all advertising for 8.
Right, and so the calculation is currently different than what is in the new ordinance, so they might have, it's based off of gross square footage of the residence. So if they're, I think it's 400 square feet per the first 2, and then 200 square feet for each additional person, so it's really kind of funky. So I don't know what their numbers are, but it's very complex about how you get to a occupancy load limit. This new ordinance reduces that to a set number.
Yes,
It lowers it.
yes.
All right.
At which point you could bring that in or submit it online, and we
I
can
don't know
take
how we can,
enforcement.
because I don't know of any house that has any more than 2 or 3 at the most. And usually that one room doesn't have a closet.
Right.
And it's,
Is noise a problem with these?
no, it's them going and see, we have a clubhouse, and that's where our mail is, and the mailman we have a room for that. It's people using our amenities and destroying them. We've had a ping pong table, that's been broken, not recently, but, since this started.
It's starting to grow from 7 to, who knows, next year it'll be up to 12.
Yeah, we're just trying to slow it down, I don't know, but, anyway, it's frustrating.
You do need to document it and get the information to
Yeah.
them when the city ordinance rules are being broken, because then they can take their Airbnb license
Yeah.
for the 3 infractions. If you can provide proof on 3 different occasions that they've violated the rules, I think you would have to notify them each time, wouldn't you?
So right now, currently, yes, we would have to, that is how it would be, but because legal is telling us that the permit from the zoning ordinance, from the zoning department, planning department, isn't authorized by the state, we can't do the permit. That's why we're putting in all these performance standards, so that way when you do come to us and you have, hey, they're violating this, or advertising it as an 8, they're only permitted 4, we can send them a letter for that, at which point, we can take the
And we
standard.
can fine them as well
Yes,
through
we
that
can.
as well.
Start finding.
Keep track.
Yeah, trying.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Gary,
Ma'am?
you had something?
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest, ma'am, I was gonna suggest, if I were a member of your homeowners association, I would use the rewrite of the rules to be a heck of a lot more enforceable than what the city ordinances could be. You
I
really
realize-
have to work with your rules of your association.
Anybody here like to be an enforcer? Is that what we need? We need somebody with some, you know what, to go up there and tell them
I
that.
got some friends in Boston that might be able to.
And if somebody's renting that shouldn't be renting, we can call you, so you can get your money. We don't want you to be short either.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
To notify you.
I've got a great gentleman downstairs that loves to do that. So
Yes,
I will
yes.
notify you.
One more question. When did the new ordinance go into effect?
So really, it depends on whether or not the planning board approves this. If planning board approves this tonight, we're gonna move it forward to city council, at which point it'll go to 2 city council meetings. First to introduce it, and then probably 2 weeks after that for a public
The
hearing.
summer's over.
Yeah.
It'll be for next year.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I-
city
I
council could also say we don't like this and we want
I
these
know, and rewrite
revisions.
it,
It
right.
would come back through
Comes
the
back.
same
No, I
process.
get it, I get it. So just look for it in the paper.
Yes.
Yep, I would, and we do post it on the city's website. There's a big bulletin at the top of the city's website, and that should keep you up to date. I would just go check that on a
Thank
somewhat
you.
regular basis. And if not, just give us a call. We're more than happy to
Absolutely.
let you know where everything's
Well,
at.
I can bug Mr. Cheney here, I've done that before.
No, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is, it's very good. Thank you again.
Anybody else in the public would like to speak on this matter?
Sorry I'm so long.
Anybody want to move into our neighborhood?
Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing at 6:55. And I guess at that point, we will, I guess, looking for a motion to approve or deny the new rewrite.
I move that we approve the new rewrite of the rules.
Seconded by Gary? Okay. Guess we'll look for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Mike?
Opposed. Too restrictive.
3 to 1.
3 to 1, okay.
All right. Close out.
Okay, next up is public hearing, consideration and vote for PB 2025-072 for 1187 Weirs Boulevard, commercial site plan amendment to allow for year-round use. Is the application complete and ready for acceptance?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, I guess I'll look for a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
Moved by Gary, looking for a second.
Second
Second by, okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Would the applicant come up and present? Thank you, sir.
I don't have a lot to say. This has already come before you, except I should have, the first time around, when I wanted to change it to condominium form of ownership, I should have included, wanted to go year-round, and it's kind of an afterthought, so we're back for a second time. But
Okay. Other than that, no real changes.
no, it's a campground that's been in place for, I've owned it for 22 years, I think, and it was there long before my time.
Okay, at this time, I guess, at 6:57, I'll open the public hearing for comments on this matter. Anybody out there wish to speak? I guess at 6:57, we'll close the public hearing. I guess we'll look for staff report.
Sure. So for the findings of fact, the application and site plans are complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The planning board approved the current condominium subdivision and commercial site plan at its June 3rd, 2025 meeting, and the application and site plans were reviewed by the technical review committee at its July 15th, 2025 meeting, and their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which there are only 2. The first one is for year-round use, condition 9 from the June 3rd, 2025 notice of action is rescinded. All units are permitted for year-round use. All units except the existing single-family home are permitted for temporary occupancy for recreational purposes only and not permitted for year-round residency in accordance with RSA 216-I. So in other words, because it's a campground, it's regulated by the state. They regulate that temporary use. The only other condition is all prior conditions not amended by this approval remain in effect.
Okay. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, I guess I'll look for a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion to approve application PB 2025-072, 1187 Weirs Boulevard, and the findings of facts as presented in the staff report.
Second?
Second.
Second by Gary. All in favor?
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, next up is application PB 2025-074 for 607 Elm Street, commercial site plan for a new clubhouse. Is the application complete and ready for acceptance?
It is.
Look for a motion to accept this application?
Motion that we accept the application as presented.
Seconded by Bruce. All in favor?
Why did I think we did this last month?
No. The golf club? Nope.
From the zoning board?
No.
Nope.
No.
Maybe it was just a premonition.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
They're gonna tear down the old building and put up a new one.
Did they do a conceptual maybe?
You read the article.
Did you guys do it? I don't know.
No,
No.
just the TLC.
The applicant You're all set to go?
We are.
We're ready.
All right. Technology's working. You can. Okay.
It's not wanting to work. Oh.
Can you plug in the HDMI? Did we do that last time?
We did this one last time, but let me just
Okay.
get it back.
Where's
we
the
have to
IT
change
guy
the-
when we need him?
I know.
Right.
I swear to you,
Let me
on-call
try a different port,
guy.
see if that works.
It worked perfectly at TRC, so,
Yeah.
you know, we're, it's right half the time.
They
we
were all
need to-
sitting around before the meeting going, watch this.
Do we need to change the input on the TV?
You want me to try the HDMI?
Probably, because then I'd have to turn it on the other TV too.
Technology, it's great when it works.
Right.
When it works, it's fantastic.
You carry all forms of adapters
Yes.
with you?
Oh, I think it's recognizing something.
There it goes.
There we
There we
go.
go. Technology works.
Perfect.
Crisis averted.
All right, good to go?
Good to go?
All right, good evening. My name's David Sherborne. I'm architect and vice president at OPG Construction. It's good to be back in front of the board. Some familiar faces from 2 years ago with the Bank of New Hampshire building. Always great to come to Laconia. It's a home game for us. We're 3 minutes up the road, so appreciate your time tonight. What we're here for tonight is a replacement of the existing clubhouse and pro shop building at Laconia Country Club on Elm Street. With me tonight in the crowd back here is Charlie Wheeler, the general manager for the club. We also have Mike Tilton, the president of the board of directors. With me from OPG, we have Andrew Pike, the president, Barry Stowe, our civil design manager, and from Allen and Major Associates, our civil engineering firm is Brian Jones. This is an aerial view of the golf course property itself. You'll see at the bottom here highlighted in the magenta color is the proposed area of work, which is the clubhouse, a small portion of the larger golf course property itself. What we're asking for tonight is a conditional use permit. The site itself is 164 acres. It's an 18-hole golf course with practice facilities. The golf course will stay unchanged post construction of the new clubhouse. And a little bit of history. So the golf course was established in 1922 prior to the creation and adoption of the zoning regulations in 1975. The pro shop, the smaller building, was built in 1954. The clubhouse was built in 1967, and as I stated, the course would remain unchanged post-development. As far as zoning, the course and the clubhouse is zoned in the residential single-family district. The golf course is not specifically listed on a table of permitted uses. The closest primary use would be outdoor recreation facility, which is allowed by special exemption. And the clubhouse building itself would be permitted as an accessory building as a private club to the primary use, which would be the outdoor recreational facility. We are asking for an expansion of an existing non-conforming use, which would then require the conditional use permit. With regards to that, the expansion of an existing non-conforming use would require a few things. We need to establish that the existing use of the clubhouse is lawfully established and not violation of any zoning regulations. Both the existing and proposed would meet those applicable zoning ordinances as if they were permitted in the zoning district, and the proposed use aligns with appearance of conforming uses. Below that, there's a number of points that we need to meet, and I can go over how we're meeting those as we get into the site plan and what we're proposing as well. Talking about zoning requirements, we are in compliance with all of the zoning dimensional standards within RS zoning districts. We meet the lot area, lot frontage, front setback, side setback, rear setback, structure height, and the minimum green area. So what we'll do is just compare what we have today on the property versus what we are proposing. Currently there's a two-story clubhouse and a remote pro shop that's connected via our covered walkway. The building itself is 10,500 square feet. Amenities include pro shop, the restaurant and bar with associated kitchen, locker rooms and bathrooms, and golf club storage. There are currently 73 parking spaces on the north side of Elm Street associated with the club. The proposed conditions remain very similar. It will now be consolidated into a single 2-story building. The clubhouse increases slightly, the footprint increases slightly to 11,325 square feet. Amenities remain the same as pro shop, the restaurant and bar and kitchen, locker rooms, bathrooms, golf club and cart storage as well. There will be a new fire protection system. There will be a new exterior grease interceptor tank that does not exist in the same capacity today. A big advantage for the club is that now all entrances on both levels will be ADA compliant, and there will be an elevator inside the building that no longer does currently not exist. And there is an increase of 98 parking spaces total versus what exists today. So what we'll go to here is the proposed site plan. What you'll see in this this dashed blue line is the footprint of the existing clubhouse. This will be the walkway connecting to the pro shop. Anyone that's been along there, there's currently golf carts stored outside in front of the pro shop behind a screened fenced area. What we are proposing would be that the pro shop and the connector to the clubhouse would be demolished initially, then the new clubhouse built, and then once operations are up and running in the new clubhouse, the existing building will be demolished. So a very similar sequencing to what you saw with the Bank of New Hampshire building, where we have 2 buildings sort of running simultaneously until the new one's open and the old one is gone. In terms of some of the requirements that we need to meet as part of the conditional use permit, public health and safety has been addressed in the sense that we are increasing the amount of parking on this side of Elm Street. There is a lot of traffic that goes from this side over to the practice facilities, so we think that that's an improvement in public safety. Currently, the sequencing of cart and foot traffic on the golf course has golf club members and guests traversing through the parking lot itself. What we are doing is introducing a dedicated cart path and walking path separate from the parking lot itself. In terms of its compatibility with the neighborhood, we've been intentional with the architecture. There's a lot of residential undertones in terms of the design. It utilizes a pitched shingle roof around its full perimeter with shake siding accented with white windows, doors, panels, and trim. We're also looking to maintain a significantly landscape buffer along Elm Street to further enhance the streetscape itself. We don't think there's any highway or pedestrian safety issues. The existing curb cuts on Elm Street to the west and eastern side will be maintained. We're thinking that traffic is reduced traversing across Elm Street, and then in terms of natural resources, there's no impact as the current use is already an improved area. At the TRC meeting, there were a few things that came up that we have either answered or addressed or will be addressed as part of the conditions. The building will be served by NFPA 13 fully compliant sprinkler system. I had mentioned earlier there will be a fire alarm system within the building. We are compliant with the Chapter 18 of the NFPA 1, which is a fire apparatus around the side, also entrance into the building itself. A question came up, there is an existing curb hydrant on just west of the westernmost curb cut that will remain post-construction of the new clubhouse and throughout construction. There is a new water service off the main on Elm Street being proposed. Both existing water services will be cut and capped that serve currently the pro shop and the clubhouse itself. We did confirm that there will be a clean out provided just outside the building of the new 8-inch sewer exiting the clubhouse prior to connecting to an existing sewer manhole to the west of the building. Snow storage, they'll utilize existing club practices. The club itself maintains the parking lot and driveways, and they will maintain emergency egress. And we can provide a plan of where the proposed areas currently are used and what will be proposed with the new clubhouse. And then finally, a question came up about where the solid waste dumpsters are located. Currently, they are on the southern portion of Elm Street, where the driving range and remote parking lot is, at the far southern end of that. So the plan will be to utilize that, which is not visible at all from Elm Street. With that being said, I will just finish up here and give you a glimpse of what we are proposing in terms of the look of the building. One thing I will point out right now, we are looking to replace the sign that is currently on Elm Street in a very similar position. Within the as zone, freestanding signs are not permitted, but we are asking for a replacement in kind, slightly different methodology, but same placement and a little smaller than what's there today. What we're proposing is just a granite monolith freestanding sign with etched Laconia Country Club logo on each side of it. So this will be the view from Elm Street looking west. This is the westernmost curb cut. You'll see that following existing grades, we have at the lower level a member entrance which would connect to the locker rooms at the lower level. Beyond that, we are now moving the golf cart storage within the building on the first floor, and then there's a walkway that leads up to the northeast corner where the main pedestrian entrance would be. The next view would be from what's the 7th tee for anyone that's played there, or the southwest corner of the clubhouse. What you'll see here is, again, similar style of architecture, consistent around the building with white window, panel and trim, and the main body of the building being a light grey wood look shake. And this would be the portion that would be golf cart storage below, and then this would be the start of the member dining area where there's a four-season porch and covered deck on the northwest corner of the building. I think one thing to point out that while trying to maintain operations, there's some great benefits to the members as well with looking over the golf course. I think it's a better engagement that we can have members look out over multiple aspects of the golf course and multiple holes, and also to leave the public use or the heavily used portions of the clubhouse screened by the front, which aren't operable windows, and so it keeps member experience on the golf course side, leave Elm Street side a little more private and screened from those member events. This would be looking back towards the northwest corner, so this is the covered deck and patios out here with some dining and bar, and then the restaurant behind that. And finally, this will be the view from where cars can pull up, drop off their bags, and just to the left here would be where the accessible parking spaces would be to provide a clear accessible route into the building. So with that being said, I will stop talking and happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board?
No, it's a well presentation. No questions.
What's the square footage of the building as it stands now?
It's 10,500 square feet,
Okay.
and it's gone up 800 square. 10,500 currently, and it's going to 11,300.
All right, we're all set? Okay, I guess so at 7:14, we'll open this for public hearing. Anybody comment for or against? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:14, and we'll look for the staff report.
Sure. So, for findings of fact, the application and site plans are consistent with state and city land use regulations. The application and site plans were reviewed by the Technical Review Committee at its July 15th, 2025 meeting, and their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which are: for pre-construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be completed at least 2 weeks prior to commencing any work on site. Plans must be revised and submitted to the planning department to include the following: snow storage for use of the parcel and/or emergency access during the winter, a note explaining how solid waste will be provided. The applicant must submit one of the following performance guarantees for site improvement and restoration security, including but not limited to street work, utility installations, landscaping, and final pavement to the planning department. It's either has to be cash or check in an amount equal to 11% of the total estimated cost for all site work to be placed into escrow and returned to the applicant upon completion of the project, or a performance bond in an amount equal to the total estimated cost for all site work with the city as the obligee. The applicant must possess all required permits and approvals granted by federal, state, municipal boards or agencies. All permits and approvals must be in place prior to the signing and recording of the final plans in Mylar. Should any permit or approval be revoked at any time during the project, all work must cease until a new permit or approval is obtained. Copies of all permits and approvals must be provided by the applicant to the planning department. 4 final plan sets must be submitted to, reviewed, and approved by the planning department. Erosion controls must be in place and inspected and approved by the planning department. The planning department will perform regular inspections to ensure erosion controls are installed and maintained correctly. Next, for construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met during the construction of the project. All specifications for municipal water service as required by the water department apply to all construction. The water department must inspect all work on water lines. The applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Fire Department. A fire alarm system must be installed in accordance with current New Hampshire State Fire Code and city ordinances and must be monitored by a third party. A fire sprinkler system must be installed in accordance with the current New Hampshire State Fire Code and city ordinances. A separate water service line or exterior shutoff for this system is required. Private trash service will be required. If a dumpster is used, it must be screened from view on all sides. The required number of parking spaces must be delineated by paint, sign, or other method as approved by the Laconia Planning Department. For the post-construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy. Impact fees in the amount of $1.49 per additional square foot of gross floor space must be paid to the planning department. In accordance with RSA 674-39, the applicant is exempt from any changes to impact fee rates for 5 years from the approval date. Should the project not be completed during the exemption period, the applicant must pay any and all increases to impact fees regardless of vestment status. Snow storage and/or removal must be provided by the owner to allow for emergency access, adequate drainage, and use of the required parking spaces. Finally, the project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than August 5th, 2030. If all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date, this approval will be null and void.
Okay,
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem.
any more discussion? I guess I'll look for a motion.
Can you clarify the impact fees? Is it on the difference?
Correct. Yep, the increase. That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
Question, Bruce? No?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve application PB 2025-074 for 607 Elm Street with the conditions of approval presented in the staff report.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Motion passed.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy your night.
Next up is PB 2025-075 for 82 New Hope Drive. Change of use from a single family to a boarding house. Is the application complete and ready for acceptance?
Yes, it is.
Look for a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Perfect.
Okay. I guess, would the applicant come up and make the presentation?
I'm not fancy with technology. I'm going old school. Oh, I think I forgot a piece. Hey, Henry, you want to do me a favor, bud? You want to work?
We should have other ones
Oh, I think we've got one.
in the corner, if you'd rather.
Ooh, how does this fancy thing work? We'll do this for now. Not much on the site plan. They had to put that right there for me, bro. I think it's gotta be right,
We want to use the metal one?
Didn't come with
Bring
directions?
my assistant everywhere. Oh, oh. All right, bud, you're on. Apparently that's not working either, so.
I hope he's on overtime.
Oh, he's always on overtime. Thank you, board, for taking the time to see us today. My name is Will Hess with Hess Engineering out of Ashland. We're here, it's pretty straightforward, one switching a single-family residential to a boarding house. Really, the only change to the existing dwelling is putting up one partition in the basement for an extra bedroom, which has almost been completed, but we're going through this till we can finish permits, get our COs. We did do a TRC, we did have some minor comments on the site plan. There's no changing to grading, no changing to drainage. So we did address the 4 comments on the TRC, which were snow storage, which we added down at the end of this gravel spot and this gravel parking area. Trash receptacles will go down here at the end of the gravel spot so someone can access the dumpster right off parking. Inside the main house, there's actually 4 parking spots, interior, 2 exterior, 2 gravel spots. These will be delineated with paint. And this is actually a detached garage, which has enough for probably 5 vehicles, but I put it at 3, which still it gives us by far enough to meet the parking requirements for the city. I mean, other than that, that's really all we're here for. We're just changing use on the property to a boarding house for the use of workforce housing. And now I'd like to, very quick presentation, but I'd love to open it up for any questions the board may have for me.
I have a question. Is the basement rated for egress, emergency egress per fire code?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And you say boarding house, how many occupants would be boarding there?
I think the maximum would be 8.
Any other questions?
I have
Okay.
none. It's been going on for a while, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
All summer.
Okay, I guess at this time, 7:22, I'll open the public hearing for comments on this application. Nobody's jumping up, so at 7:22, I'll close the public hearing. We'll look for the staff report.
Yep, so for the findings of fact, the application and site plans are complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The zoning board of adjustment approved a variance to permit the use of boarding, rooming, lodging house at its May 19th, 2025 meeting. The application and site plans were reviewed by the technical review committee at its July 15th, 2025 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which are the applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Fire Department. A fire alarm system must be installed in accordance with current New Hampshire State Fire Code and city ordinances and must be monitored by a third party. A fire sprinkler system must be installed in accordance with current New Hampshire Fire Code and city ordinances. A separate water service line or exterior shutoff for the system is required. 6 parking spaces must be delineated by paint, sign, or other method as approved by the Laconia Planning Department, which the applicant has shown tonight. As snow storage and/or removal must be provided by the owner to allow for emergency access, adequate drainage, and use of the required parking spaces. Private trash is required. If a dumpster is used, it must be screened from view on all sides. And the project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than August 5th, 2030. If all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date, this approval will be null and void.
Any more questions?
No, let's get moving.
Yeah, I guess I'll look for a motion to approve.
I'll move approval of PB 2025-075 with the addition of the staff's comments.
Second?
I'll second.
Gary, okay. All in favor? Motion
Perfect.
passed. Thank you very much.
You're good.
Thank you very much, board. Look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. We are at the zoning amendment, the rewrite of the Housing Development Overlay District, and we're looking for the staff presentation.
Yep. So I believe Ethan Wood came in, was it last month or the month
Last
before
month,
last? And basically came in and proposed a rewrite to the HROD, which is currently not being used as intended originally. And so after working with Attorney Wood and our own legal counsel here at the city, we came up with what we think to be a rewrite to actually ensure that it's being utilized to develop adequate housing in the city, but also maintain the characters of the neighborhoods within the HROD. With that, we wanted to ensure that we weren't making this a free-for-all, that people could just do whatever they wanted to provide housing. So we put in several performance standards, which again, they have been reviewed by our legal counsel and approved. So we basically wanted to bring this before you all and see if this was something you would be open to, if you had any questions or concerns about the language that we have written here. When this would only be used, in order to use this overlay district, you would have to provide at least 2 units of affordable housing, or is it 20%, whichever is greater.
Yep. And it would have to be deeded for 25 years.
Correct. And the primary use of the parcel must be residential. Proposed structures must not exceed 4 stories. Proposed density must not exceed 20 units per acre, which is already in the UC. On lots with 3 or more workforce housing units, one of the following uses can be proposed, but must not exceed 1,500 square feet, either a neighborhood store or an eating, drinking place. Basically, our thought process behind that was we want to bring back those old, community stores that we used to have, at least I know I had when I grew up, and try to spur some of that too, but we don't want anything crazy, commercial development, just those 2 uses.
It was really when we're redeveloping these already dense neighborhoods it should be a walkable community, and people should be able to work in some of these areas and get some of their basic necessities in that same area. So it's kind of going back to that neighborhood philosophy of, I can walk down to the neighborhood store and I can grab my carton of milk and walk back home, or I can walk down to the bakery and get a muffin and walk back home.
And again, to limit the free-for-all, they would have to submit to us, to this board, a master signage plan to be reviewed and approved. Proposed dwelling units must be no smaller than 400 square feet. At least 1 on-site parking space per dwelling unit must be provided, so that way we ensure there's at least 1 parking space per unit. Must incorporate design elements in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. No more than 1 access point per street is permitted. That way we're not overcrowding our streets. If more than 1 parcel is proposed for redevelopment on a single application, then all subject parcels must be merged into a single lot. That will help with future development of those neighborhoods and make it easier for them to develop that type of housing. We do have one quick administrative correction we would like to make. For number 12 here, under D12, it says there must be no more than 1 sewer service connection and 1 water service connection per lot. We had originally added that because we see a lot of times with some of the older lots, DPW and the water department will, at TRC, request that these developers or property owners consolidate to one service line for each of those. After talking it over with Rob, we think we should change that must to a should, because there could be some parcels where it makes more sense to have the 2 connections or multiple connections if DPW and the water department allow it. So that would be addressed no matter what if we change that from a must to a should. And we'll just let those experts let us know what is best. And finally, all exterior.
Can I just interject
Yeah.
on that? Couldn't we leave it the way you have it and say something to the effect of subject to permission, alternative permission granted by Public Works and, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, like subject to approval from Public Works and Water Department.
That-
I think that would meet the intent still, and that'd be an administrative
It
correction.
makes the intent obvious.
Yep.
Right.
And the word must sort of tells you, you better have a
You
damn
should do
good
this.
reason to do
Yep,
so.
absolutely.
Right. No,
And
agreed.
that's exactly what we wanted to accomplish as well, so I think we're all on the same page, so absolutely. Yep.
And then finally, for the last performance standard here, we just have that all exterior lighting fixtures must be dark sky approved to minimize glare, reduce light trespass, and reduce light pollution. And third-party certifications for dark sky approved fixtures must be included in all final plans. And the reason why we put that in there is we didn't want somebody to add like 10 units and have lights shining down at the neighboring properties. So,
And the other thing is, we don't normally regulate lighting with residential
Correct.
projects, and this would give us some sort of control over that. More often than not, we hear people complaining, especially during the winter, as it gets darker earlier, of, I can see the light out in their backyard, and it's right in my window, and this would help minimize that, so.
About my only question is, it seems to me density went up substantially. was the logic?
So, in the original, historic, housing redevelopment overlay, they had it 12 units per acre, but then the math formula, when you worked it back out, reduced it back to the original density of the underlying zoning district. We said 20, as that was what our urban core was anyways, was 20 units per acre. So we just kept it the standard of the 20 units per acre. Even with the 20 units per acre, I don't think it's really, I think the parking is gonna be the more restrictive of the number of units, because we still required them to have that. So regardless of what the density was, I really feel the parking is gonna be their limiting factor of, you're only gonna be able to produce so much by having the parking spaces.
It's gonna require up
Yeah.
as much as anything.
And that was our goal, is to help, keep the urban core urban, so we're not promoting growth outside in the rural areas, so.
Are we approaching the day when we need to look at the 30-foot restriction?
I think, what's great, is we're starting this master plan, and I think that's gonna come out of
Okay.
what should be and shouldn't be. So I think we're about to start on that venture, and it's gonna be, we're gonna have plenty of input, I think.
I just don't know how we're gonna meet the need for additional housing with restrictions on, I mean, a lot of people who I had any conversation with hate the idea of height, but I don't know how you can get.
Right, and I will say that's always a discussion with us downstairs, as we look at our zoning map now, and with all that light green space with that rural residential, we would really, I don't think we want to just build all of that to accommodate for housing. I think
No.
we want to find land to preserve and focus on increasing density in the urban core by building upwards where it makes sense. And that's why the master plan is going to come into play, because we're going to be, talking about those areas that we as a city want to preserve, and we don't want to see that urban sprawl, and where in the city we want to see that increased height. So,
And height makes a difference depending on where it's at.
Yep.
Depending on what's around, there's a lot of variables there, so.
absolutely.
And I think that's why we limited to 4. I think 4 stories is what we limited to. We've seen, other areas where they've used performance zoning, and they've gone up higher than that, and I think the debate was, what's too high? So we kind of were like, we're gonna limit this with this, and 4 was our limit of what we thought was a reasonable request.
Yeah.
So.
Until the ZBA says otherwise.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I agree, and we put it in there if we also thought the 4 was a reasonable,
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Thanks.
I guess at 7:33, I'll open this for a public hearing. Anybody would like to comment?
Hi. My name is Joanne Moran. I live at 53 Pearl Street, and I am waiting to see what happens with this zoning ordinance, because I'm looking to condo my property, and I'm actually working with Ethan. And we're looking to maybe take advantage of this ordinance, do a couple of the units as workforce housing, which will enable me to get, I think, 4 or 5 units on my property, and so I'm hoping you do this change, and then you'll be seeing another interesting project, in the fall. So.
Excellent. I think it's kind of neat that here we are talking about it, and we've already got a possible project.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show, we've had this overlay for years and years, and nobody has ever utilized it. And the intent was to spur development in those already densely populated areas, and we didn't provide anybody real tools to do that. And I think this is providing those real tools that we can
Absolutely.
do that.
Yeah, I just want to comment, we're a very small landlord. We have 2 units, and hopefully now we'll have a couple more, but we've had a Section 8 person in one of our units since 2009, and very, very in support of workforce housing and making things affordable, and not just going for the top dollar. So it's kind of like we would actually feel kind of good about, even though it limits the property, it's the right thing to do, so maybe that will set an example, so.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so at 7:35, I'll close the public hearing. And I guess we're looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
We'll look for a vote. All in favor? Perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the planning department report.
Oh,
one
actually,
more.
we got one more public hearing. It's for the rules and
Oh, I'm
procedures
sorry, I
amendment.
skipped, well, okay, back up the bus.
Skip the rules, huh?
Yeah, rules of procedure amendment to the current planning board rules of procedure. I guess
Yep.
we'll, staff presentation?
Sure. So we're, when we brought this before you guys last year, it had been a long time since the planning board had looked at and revised its rules of procedure. And so our intent was every year to take a look at this and see, what's been working, what hasn't been working, maybe where we can tighten up some language to help you guys out. And so after review here, where there's only really a couple small changes, the first change will be under the role of the chairperson. And basically, we just want to add a provision in there that says that they'll only vote in the event of a tie vote by the board. We already see that with city council and several other boards. And Charlie obviously does that quite often. So we just kind of wanted to codify that as a rule moving forward. And then the only other change is to the master plan steering committee. Originally, it was 6 members. We thought it would make more sense to have an odd number board. That way, if there's a tie, the tie can be broken. So we increased that to 7. And we basically allowed the city manager to have one more appointee, since the planning board chair already has an appointee, has 3 appointees. So we gave the city manager 3 appointees, and 1 member is already the planning director. We also wanted to ensure that the chairperson of the master plan steering committee, their role was well-defined as well, and they could only vote in the event of a tiebreaker. And then we also wanted to make sure that city councilor was always represented on the master plan steering committee. And right now, I believe it's Councilor Hoffman who would be representing. And we have that language in there that should a city councilor ever vacate their office, another city councilor would be appointed to take their place.
Probably ought to have an alternate city councilor, because there are those times when city councilmen, so they don't need to be replaced, you just need somebody to sit in.
Sure.
We have that in my position. There was a city councilman assigned as an alternate for the planning board. You might want to add that. I'd also,
We can do,
I think we can add that.
we can do that, absolutely.
I would also suggest under Article 4B that you add that the vice chair shall have the authority to vote only in the event of a tie vote of the board while sitting as chairman,
Good call.
so that that's clear.
Yep, because I think that was our intent with it as well, so.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The vice chair.
I think you've been doing that anyways tonight, Rich, so I think we're good.
Perfect. We'll also add that under C for the secretary as well, because the secretary can serve if both the chair and the vice chair aren't here. So I'll update both B and C to include that language.
Good, thank you.
No problem.
And we just wanted to, I just wanted to point out, we did amend in the master plan steering committee that the planning director shall be the chair of the committee, which is also why we made that person not vote.
To limit the power.
To limit, so that whoever the planning director is during the process, hopefully it's still me, but I'm saying that I wouldn't be voting either way, so that way there would be no perception of an employee swinging the direction of a master plan.
Okay.
So we just thought that would be a better public image, that there wasn't a staff person directing the direction of where it was going.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Nope.
I guess at 7:39, I'll open this for a public hearing. Anybody wish to speak?
Gabe?
Yep.
He's all that's left, so.
Seeing
Get up and
none-
say anything at all, Gabe. Anything the Red Sox or.
Seeing none, I guess we'll close the public hearing at 7:39, and I look for a motion to approve.
With the changes that were discussed.
Yes, I move that it be approved as amended tonight.
Second.
Second by Bruce. I guess I'll look for a vote. All in favor? Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Now,
Good job.
it's the staff report.
Good job, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I will say, it's very confusing when you printed the old stuff and the new stuff, and then you just highlighted the stuff in yellow. It would have been easier to just give me one sheet where you highlighted what you changed.
So I think we picked that up tonight. I was like, I think even during short-term lodging, I think we probably should have thought about how we had that laid out a little bit better, and we will work on something better for next time we're doing ordinance updates, so we're really distinguishing the current from the proposed.
Once I figured out everything was in yellow, your changes, so the first batch was pretty much non-existent, so that was fine.
Yeah, we can, lesson learned, we will address that, so
They ought to be marked.
On there, I can
Yeah.
put in like a header on each page, and that way you'll know.
yep, we can do
That's
that. We can absolutely do that.
The draft watermark?
Yep.
No, I won't.
Whatever you guys want.
No, I mean, if that's what you want, we,
No, no.
absolutely, we
No,
can.
that's-
No, I just think we could save paper if we only had the one thing showing the changes, would
Yeah,
also
but
save.
sometimes you need to look at both to
Right.
see what the.
I was gonna say, that's the only time is like with short-term lodging and the HROD, because essentially what we're doing is we're getting rid of everything and putting in something new. That's where it gets complicated,
true, yeah.
but I agree, I can put it in the header or the footer or wherever, just so you guys know.
Just some,
Okay.
Whatever makes it, I mean, we want to make it as easy
Yeah.
as possible for everybody, so.
there's something in there I wanted to, oh, does this go to the council for approval?
The ordinance ones? Yes.
No, the regulation, the planning
Rules
board.
of procedure?
No,
Just
no,
approved
just us.
But I suggest to you that you send them as an advisory thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yep.
You may get some, particularly where you talk about a counselor being on and all that sort of stuff.
Certainly.
Might be, in your monthly report, add a copy of this.
You got it, I can absolutely do that, yep. That is no problem. And actually, I was just talking to, Conservation, I talked to Dean Anston this morning, and we were talking about monthly reports, and, we're gonna start working together, so we add in a conservation aspect to our monthly report as well. And that will go, to city council as well.
Brilliant.
So, we just had that discussion this morning, so.
I got a bone to pick with him at some point, just gotta tell me when his meeting is, 'cause
His next meeting is tomorrow night,
really, what time?
6 o'clock. In here, right here.
If I have to go to Manchester for some testing if I get back in time. I'll tell you ahead of time, I'm really upset about Pearly Pond on North Main Street. You can see years ago where we could see the pond easily. Now they've allowed it to grow up so much. I don't want them to tear it all down, but they could certainly get closer and cut it height-wise.
Do you want me to see if I can set up a meeting with him, you, and Amy, and we can come to a mutually agreeable solution for Pearly Pond?
Because you can see, and I understand from a conservation perspective that it's nice to save that, but you go by O-Pee-Chee Park and now you can't see anything there because they've allowed it to grow up so much. And there must be a midpoint where we could let people see more without taking it all out or cutting it all down.
Absolutely.
I think Amy comes back from vacation on the 11th, so maybe I can set up, I'll see if I can coordinate after that.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Let me know.
Yep, you got it.
That'd
We
be
can do
great.
that.
Thank you. And that saves me from racing back.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yep, we can do that. That's easy. City Council just approved the budget, so we got $100,000 for a master plan. We also got approval for the project manager. That's 6 months of funding for that, for this fiscal year. So that individual is going to oversee and coordinate projects approved by the planning board, ensuring they meet all the requirements and there's any issues related to these developments. So we're very excited about that. In discussion with Public Works, we've needed this position probably for a long time, and now we're gonna finally have them, so we're very excited about that. We do expect to post for the position in October, with the expected start date of January. I have sent the job description to Human Resources for them to review and approve before I bring it to the city manager. So hopefully, very soon, I'll have a finalized job description for them. This month, we did 2 administrative review applications, one for home occupation and one for an accessory building. We have 1 minor site plan application going before TRC this month, I'm sorry. And TIF updates, we are out to bid for our lighting for Canal Street. Belknap Landscaping is still chugging away at redoing all the landscaping downtown. We are working on a couple grant opportunities with Joya, the economic developer, so we look forward to some great things going ahead. I don't know if I told the board last month, but we did submit a request with Gene Shaheen's office for $1.5 million. We did not get the $1.5 million, but she recommended $300,000. So we're looking to pursue a northern grant opportunity to use that $300,000 as the city's 50 match and request an additional $300,000 through Northern Grant for our downtown project, and that would be turning Canal Street into a festival street, a lighting project downtown, security cameras, and banner poles, and an archway coming into Laconia that would say, welcome to Laconia.
Yeah.
So that's whether we can do all that with the 600,000 versus the 1.5, we don't know, but we'll see how much we get at the end of the day, and then we'll move forward. It's a start. So we're pretty excited about that. We had 6 applications go before zoning board this month. They were all approved with the exception of an application for White Oaks Road. The applicant was requesting a variance for multifamily and for density to allow 24 units. That was denied. Everything else was approved. We did go out to bid for our master plan. At the time of writing this, we had 7 bids. I think we actually ended up getting 8.
Yep.
So we are very excited about that. All of the applications that we received are from very, very reputable companies, very professional, and their applications look incredible. It's going to be very difficult to go through and make a selection. We have a selection committee that is meeting tomorrow, and that's going to be made up of Tyler, myself, and Joya, our economic developer. We're going to go through. We'll score everything. We'll probably come to a final 3. And then we'll rescore based on the final 3 that we come to, and then we'll discuss with the city manager and see, we'll get his buy-in and have the final selection then. So hopefully by the end of the month, we should have a selection made on the master plan contractor. And then after we have the contract signed, depending on who it is, we'll probably then try to coordinate what our schedule will be for our master plan steering committee to align with project meetings with them to make sure everything's all lined up. We're also looking to do the workshops and a combined meeting with all the land use boards and city council to make sure we have that pathway forward that everybody's looking for. So once we have that selection, we'll work with the contractor to work all the timelines out and schedule the meetings out. So we're very excited about that. Additionally, our impact fee study is coming to the finish line. I have on there the timeline for our expected adoption for it. We should have our rough draft submitted from the contractor by the 12th of this month. We'll review it with them and discuss any changes we think should be made to it. Then their final draft should be back to us by the 19th of August. We'll schedule a public hearing for the first planning board presentation for September 2nd. If everything goes well at planning board, it will then go to city council for presentation and for them to schedule a public hearing for September 8th with possible final adoption at city council for September 22nd. If there's delays or hiccups or requested changes anywhere in that obviously changes the timeline and extends it back out. So we kind of have an alternate timeline as well. So if it makes it through that first timeline and then there's a change that's made, September 24th would be the next revised public notice date with a October 7th planning board meeting and an additional meeting at city council for the 14th and 27th. And then our contract would expire on October 31st.
Don't I understand that the impact fee you're proposing is an average of other cities and towns?
It's not an average. There's going to be a methodology associated with basically the city services and the city facilities that would be needed based on the type of development. We did look at other municipalities as well. That is going to be a factor for our contractor. But essentially, it's mostly going to just be based on what it's actually costing the city to.
Yep, so we did do a lot of data gathering, and we had meetings with the contractor, and they toured all the facilities, and each department was told to get them all of their capital projects that they needed and all their capital assets. And they take all that data and they combine it, and they should have a methodology to how they get to what the impact fee is. And they should be providing to us several different options of what we could possibly adopt. So that those numbers will go before both the planning board and city council and say, this is what we think. Another thing to think about, and if you want to voice some input now, that would be great, is waivers of impact fees. We don't have to provide waivers. We could just say, this is the impact fee, and this is what you pay. Or you can provide a waiver, and we could have criteria for what you need for a waiver. And that is up to the planning board and city council what they want. I kind of think that, you know, we've had waivers in the past, and
we gave them out like candy.
And we gave them out like, and there's really no.
Other towns do the waiver system?
Some do, some don't. Some will only have waivers, basically to say that if a developer is going to come in and, you know, they're going to propose to add, I don't know, a mile of sewer line, let's just say city sewer, and upgrade it, that, you know, the planning board could waive the impact fees in lieu of that performance.
You ought to put some language in that sort of allows or talks about that. And the other thing would be nonprofits.
Okay.
Beyond that, I wouldn't be too.
That's right, exactly.
When it comes to nonprofits, though, specifically, would you just want the developer or whoever's submitting an application, as long as they're a nonprofit, they automatically get a waiver, or?
Do you want to limit the waiver to a certain percentage?
Why don't you make a recommendation?
Okay, no.
We can do that.
Yeah, we could do that. We were just, you know, we haven't got the language yet, but we've been talking to the contractor, and we just want to make sure that we had a clear vision of what planning board and city council was looking for as we kind of get everything developed, so we're not.
I would tell you, I can't base this on any lengthy discussions or anything else, but on one or two occasions, I've heard comments about the impact fee being waived or whatever. Certainly, some time ago, before you guys came on, comments were made. I think, I'm pretty sure the city council is going to support you on most of what you do.
Sure.
Okay.
If not all.
No, we just want to make sure that we reached out early enough in the process to get the feedback before we really got some language finalized, so.
Certainly.
So that's where we are there. As we're looking to start the master plan, we thought it might be a good idea just to kind of put on hold new updates or changes to the zoning ordinance unless it was an urgent need of something that we needed to allow for the master plan process to go all the way through, so that when they provide us their implementation plan, we're not amending it throughout the process. We're allowing it to have, this is our clear studies that said, you know, we need A, B, C, D, and then when they develop the implementation plan, we have a clear path to any changes we need to the zoning ordinance at the end of
that and bring that in for you to review at that point. There are a few that are currently in the process now that we feel like should just be.
That have already been started, such as the HROD that we did tonight, chicken ordinance that's at the government ops subcommittee right now, short-term lodging, which we discussed tonight, and then of course our impact fee study, which is coming forward. And then there was recently, there's been a lot of changes to state law, and to bring ourselves into compliance with the updates from state law. We're probably gonna have one amendment that comes through for, you know, parking and a few various other things, just to bring us into compliance with the state. But other than that, we wanted to just take a pause on amendments until the master plan was finished. And that's my report for tonight.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Nothing from TRC?
So we did attach the TRC minutes.
It was the 3 applications that were before you tonight?
Tonight, yep, okay.
Yep, so,
Then we're looking for liaison reports. City Council,
None.
LRPC?
We won't meet until what, September, I think?
September,
Yeah.
yep. Conservation Commission?
Conservation Commission, I just spoke with Dean. DPW and Parks are about to start a project down at Gale Ave. So Dean's gonna be working on doing his rain garden and developing a planting list for that, so that should be forthcoming. That won't come before planning board, but it'll go to Parks and Rec to have them work with conservation for all those plantings.
Historic District Commission?
So, they haven't met, but, so I don't really have a whole lot on that one.
All right. So I guess the next up is street acceptance. Proposed acceptance of Thompson Ave as a city street. Staff presentation.
Yep, so the residents of Thompson Ave are basically looking to have that street accepted as a city street in accordance with state law, because this road has existed well before the planning board or zoning board and doesn't exist on any street plat of the city. It actually has to come before the planning board for you guys to review, make comment on, and then you guys can either vote to approve the acceptance or vote not to approve the acceptance. I will just point out that no matter what you do, city council still can accept the street, so.
It just changes the number of votes that it needs to pass at city council from, a simple majority to, I think,
2/3.
2/3 vote.
What are the pros and cons?
You know, when you look at the letters there, you know, what do we gain from that? In that you can't drive a school bus down it to pick up kids. I guess a fire truck's still gonna access. It's gonna be a nightmare for whoever's plowing it. It's only 12 feet wide. You can't pass 2 cars on it.
Yeah.
What would be a pro?
Happy residents.
I think that all the residents petitioned the city council to adopt it, and this is one of those streets that I believe they had 100% interest in the.
Well, how many residents are actually on it?
It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 10. But the city does have all the easement language necessary from each abutter to accept the street, so.
So I'm assuming now we don't plow it?
I think we do maintain it for emergency.
I think it might be designated as emergency lane.
So they do, okay.
Yeah.
But trash pickup probably doesn't happen there. They've got to wheel it to the end of the street.
I believe they've got to wheel it to the end of the street for them to pick it up.
Isn't very far.
And I think you could propose that a condition of acceptance be that trash would still be collected at the end of the street.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That trash would still be collected at the end of the street as a condition of acceptance.
We can, whatever comments the planning board wants to add, we can add that to our staff report that will follow it to city council.
Yep.
You know, I'm sure it's hard for these folks because they don't have an abundance of parking. I know some of those streets there, several of them, have complained to me about the fact that in the summertime, people park there to avoid parking meters. To the point where they can't park on their street because it's taken up by out-of-towners.
I agree with you, and I think that we've heard other complaints from other streets that are right down there that are
Simpson
very
and
similar.
several others.
Yep.
And I think one of the things about making a public way is the city's ability to enforce parking regulations, which they can't do on a private
Correct.
street.
Yep.
As I'm sitting here, I just remember thinking that, so.
Is that one that would behoove the city to designate no parking on one side? Because now, in the summer, I drove down there the other day, it's like this to get through there because they're parking.
One of the things that we've talked about is making it resident parking only. Simpson is about to get that passed, I think, at the next city council meeting. What we will then do is issue them stickers for their vehicles, so that when the police go down the street, they'll know this car can park here because it's got a sticker. And this car can't, so we'll give it a ticket.
Yeah, I believe Wes is working on that right now, so I think that's going to city council at the next, meeting, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think that was right, I think it was 2 permits he was gonna allow for it to be issued per, and I think that was, it could be expanded to include other streets, so.
I would almost guarantee you that it's gonna be expanded, not just in the campground either. I mean, around the city there, you're gonna see more and more of it. Some of it, I live on one of them, so I have to leave the room when it's discussed, but, Pickerel Pond, if you go to Meredith's paperwork, it was accepted by the town in Meredith before Laconia took over this end of Meredith. So, is it an accepted road, or do we need to accept it? Those are the and I think you're gonna see that in other places where we're gonna have some legal difficulties that we're gonna need to surmount. I think they can be done, but I think the planning board needs to be prepared to see more of these sorts of things.
Yeah, because I think this is the second one we've seen this year. I think there was one that was done earlier.
Was it James Ave?
Yes.
Yes, yep. And I think, speaking with the Public Works Director, I think there's a few more that are, or at least, I think there's at least one more that's in the queue that will eventually make it, I believe, to planning board this, whether it's this year or.
The city council changed, it used to be you had to have unanimous approval of everybody on the street, and the city council changed that to majority. I don't remember whether it was 2/3 or just a majority, but.
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I don't recall, but it's something like that,
Yep.
one or the other. So, I guess I mentioned that because now you'll start seeing, because there were a number of streets that asked to be accepted came before the council, or it didn't come before us, but tried to come before us, and they couldn't because one guy on the end of the street held out or something.
Yeah, I think there was I can't remember the name of that road there, probably off White Oaks Road there, right at the beginning there, was one of those ones that it didn't have.
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest. Yep.
Well, so I just, my observation would be stand by.
We'll be ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be pros at this before long.
And, some of it's, not some of it, I guess all of it's legitimate. I mean, 12 feet wide, he's absolutely right, that's almost outrageous to accept. But we gotta remember when it was made.
Right.
Yep.
When a horse and wagon went down that street, 12 feet wide was more than enough.
Yeah, you could pass to.
Yeah.
And a lot of these older developments like that, they didn't have all the cars that we have today.
No,
and
They
that
walked.
just wasn't the.
We walked.
Yep.
Yeah, we
everybody
only had one
walked.
car.
And that was a seasonal area out there that, so.
Okay.
The other thing I hope we pay attention to is requesting sidewalks on, you obviously can't hear, but on some of the others that come, we ought to be talking about sidewalks. I know that's.
Well, that should
Not a
hopefully get
popular
cleaned up with impact fees.
Hopefully,
also.
hopefully with the impact fee study, we're looking to have the sidewalk bit cleaned up so that we're assessing that with each project that's coming through. So, hopefully we can, hopefully that's in works, I hope, because it'll end that
Well,
long-standing.
it'll shut Charlie up.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I'll let you say
At
it.
least on that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess we're looking, at this point, a vote to approve or deny the acceptance of Thompson Ave. So I guess we'll have a motion to accept,
I'll
or I
move
guess
to
we'll just
accept.
motion to approve or deny.
I'll move to approve, or,
Okay? Yep. Second? All in favor?
Further discussion?
oh,
Okay.
Is it wise to accept a 12-foot wide road?
I'm sorry, speak up.
Is it wise to accept a 12-foot wide road?
Well, the only thing I would tell you is we've already accepted it for all intents and purposes. it's an emergency lane now, which we maintain, including if it needed fill brought in or something like that.
Right.
So what we're doing is changing its status from an emergency lane to a public street. And one of the things that I think the public street adds for us is an emergency lane, we have no enforcement authority. A public street, we have enforcement authority.
But now all those little lanes
Yeah,
are gonna say, we want it too, we want it, we want it. So
they've
how,
already done that.
Yeah, many of
They've
them
already
are,
done it, yeah.
many of them are.
how do we
Some of
say
them
no?
have already been approved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't say no to all these little alleys if we approve Thompson Avenue.
For me, part of it is the age. If that street was built in 1968, I'd tell you, you know, I don't have a lot of sympathy. But it was built in 1878, or something like that, and,
All right, talk
And
me
it's,
into
the
it.
other thing is, it's not a through road. It's
No,
that-
that's
So
true. Yep.
you're only gonna get local traffic, or I guess somebody was lost.
or people who are looking for free parking.
If they
That's
get
correct.
lost there, they're gonna stay lost.
Well, that's right, exactly, exactly, yeah, yeah,
Approved.
okay.
So that was 4.
Four,
Yep. Awesome.
four to the, okay. The next one up is 54 Colonial Road Building Permit. Review and comment on issuing a building permit for 54 Colonial Road.
Yep, so this is another one of those situations similar to road acceptance, except for this one, you don't have any voting for this. It's literally just to review it and comment on it, and then it's gonna go before city council, I believe on Monday, for their final approval. So essentially, because 54 Colonial Road is not located on a street plat that was approved by planning board, in order to build there and have their building permit approved, planning board has to review and comment on it, and then it has to go to city council for them to approve building on that lot, with the stipulation that there is a waiver that has to be signed by the property owner and recorded at the registry of deeds, so it goes with the life of the property. So that way the city is held harmless for not providing services to that property.
Where is it?
54 Colonial, it is off of Endicott Street east,
It's off Plantation.
off of Plantation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah, I think that's another one that is declared currently as an emergency lane.
And I believe that's in court as we speak. It's in litigation as we speak over that one.
so essentially, it's just a building permit, like any other building permit for you guys to review, and if you have any concerns of why they shouldn't build there, make comments now, and we forward that on to city council for their consideration. We have done this in the past, this is not the first time we've seen this, so,
It's just very rare that we
yeah.
have a plat that we didn't approve that we issue a building permit on. And I think state law actually just changed for this, so there might be a little bit slightly different process moving forward after this one.
And your thoughts on this?
I mean, he recently built a house next door. He just got electricity run to it, to that house from Eversource. It took a little bit to get electricity there, but he finally got that done, so I don't think it'll be that much of a stretch to get it run to this house as well.
I think that the drainage plan should be reviewed and provided to the Public Works Department and approved by the Public Works Director. Would be a condition I would add to it.
Well, I would say, because I'd say like a driveway permit, but it's not a city street, so
Yeah.
how do we do that? Because I don't know if anybody's driven up there, but it's a pretty significant hill, and every time it rains, you know, their contractor comes down and cleans it off Endicott, all the runoff off Endicott.
Oh,
Back up there.
yes, I
Yeah.
know what we're talking about
Yep.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, school
It's a
buses
steep
had
hill.
issues there. Yeah,
Steep hill.
I
School
pulled up,
bus doesn't go up Plantation, does it?
well, not anymore.
They used to pick up at the corner, yeah.
Have to go, yeah, I pulled the postman out of there numerous times, yeah.
Hmm.
It's but again, that was a fairly new road that was not built to city spec.
Yeah.
I will say, like I said before, they will have to record a waiver at the registry of deeds saying that the city is not responsible for any maintenance or services to that property. So,
What's interesting, right, just on this application here, the fact that they denoted it as a private road.
those are all private well and septic there?
No,
I
Lakes
think they
Region
have
Water.
Lakes Region Water up there.
same,
Okay.
south of the well by my house.
But they have septic?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. It's a Brian Bailey septic design,
That's
actually,
right,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So, if there aren't any other more comments on this, then we're good to go.
I'd move we adjourn.
Perfect.
Second?
Before we get to second, I think I said, what did you think about it? And you sort of,
Oh, I think I said, a drainage,
Oh.
plan for to review by DPW for the driveway.
Yeah.
assuming that that's done, you feel this is okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he certainly struggled enough to get electricity in
He,
there.
the gentleman that's building this, he did another house, and it's been completed, I think, for almost a year,
At least.
and he was trying to get power to it.
Yeah.
And, the city wouldn't give him an easement, because we said that we didn't own the road, and the private owner that allegedly owns the road said that he didn't own the road, and they weren't gonna give him an easement, because then it would be admitting that they owned the road, so this poor gentleman was really working it to,
But he
And,
was able to work with Eversource.
but he
and-
eventually worked with Eversource, and they connected him, so he finally got a win.
So this builder specializes in tough cases, or what?
No, I think, this gentleman saw a good deal and was like, this is great, and then realized this might have not been the deal I thought it was.
Yeah, I have a neighbor who bought 2 lots up there, and then realized the price was right, sounded really good. Now he's realizing, if it's not a city street, all that issue, that, maybe it wasn't the best deal in the world.
How far along are we with the electrical plan?
Oh, electric,
Electrical aggregation. So the plan has been approved. At this point, we're just waiting for the rates to be favorable. Because right now, Eversource has come out with their rates, which will go into effect, this month?
Yep.
And they are actually slightly lower than market rates right now. In talking with Freedom, I would say that, let's look at February, if not, hopefully it's February, but if not, next August at the latest, that you're probably gonna see a price hike from
I think you'll see,
Eversource.
February, you'll see a big hike.
Didn't he just authorize a hike?
Well, the PUC just cut them a deal and gave them a really odd, it's not the usual rate increase that they used to get. You know,
Right.
they used to say, oh, you're gonna get 11.8 cents. Now, this is, it's kind of a floating thing
Yeah.
over a long-term window, and
It looks good right now in the short term, but in the long term, they might have to
I
make
think-
up some
I think February,
losses.
we're gonna be
Never
better
heard
off.
of such a thing. How could that be?
So, and there are also changes at the PUC as well recently, so we might see some changes coming down the pike too with that, so. But we're all set, we're just waiting for the market to be right.
Having had to deal with the PUC back when I was running 911, and we were dealing with the phone companies.
Yeah.
And these, go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, no, this is fine. Before we adjourn, I just wanted to, not forget that we have CIP coming up. I think we kind of
yes.
briefly touched on it. So we'll need to reappoint some planning board members to the CIP committee at our next meeting. So,
There
just so
are
you.
3 spots,
There's 3
and
spots open.
I think are there 3 planning board members that aren't here?
So just let you know, it's food for thought, and you can,
No, did Ryan resign?
Brian Wolf did resign from the board. So we do have 1 full member position open right now on the board. If you know somebody,
alternates.
plus 3 alternates, if you know anybody who is interested.
What about, Gail?
Gail was, sick tonight, so.
So she, okay,
Yeah, she's still on the
because
board.
when I heard there was an opening, I wasn't sure if.
Nope,
was
she's still on the board. She texted me this morning. She said she was just not feeling well and she couldn't make it today.
She also broke her foot or something.
Gail has not had the best luck lately.
Yeah.
She's.
Arma. And you can tell her I said.
I will
she might
relay
be
your
watching.
message to her.
Zing. Hi, Gail.
For all the aggravation that we put up with.
I'll let her know.
No, it came just from Bruce.
Yeah.
So I guess we're
Could
set.
you hold off just a week so I can move out of the area?
You got it, yeah,
Yes,
you got
yes.
it.
So I guess we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah. We'll just get up and leave. That's a vote.
Looks like we're adjourned.
Perfect.
You got it,
8:15.
perfect.
Not bad.
Thank you. No, good.
Rich, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rich. And I just want to say,
The cheat sheet, you got me to muddle through it.
Savannah, Rob,